I can tell you.
I'm a chicken hawk too.
I took some time off and forgot how to run the booth.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Santos.
I pushed auto, not studio. Oh, well, they missed that.
Do you want to do your intro again?
No, I don't, because it was bad anyway, so we're good.
So good afternoon, everybody.
Liz is looking at me like she's absolutely shocked that I can forget how to do this in a week.
God has a plan.
Yeah, it's only been a week, and I forgot.
So all that time that we were just blabbering?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Nothingness.
Nice. Nice.
Hey, you know what? We were off to a rough start anyways. Now it's good.
Oh, man.
Well, it was heavy traffic in Marysville today. Did you notice that or wonder why?
No,
I didn't notice.
When I came through, it was just jammed up
Well,
with
the
cars.
train was going by. No, that was earlier, huh?
Yeah, when we came up, the train was going by with the millions and millions and millions of pieces of lumber.
maybe that's what jammed up the traffic was the train.
Could
And then it was
be.
still just lagged behind. Because
Yeah.
everybody, whenever anybody comes to a stop anymore, they have to pull out their cell phone. Even if it's just for a second, they have to pull out their cell phone, get on their cell phone, and start doing whatever, checking Facebook or whatever.
Yeah,
If they stop for 5 seconds.
yeah.
So-
It's a huge issue for sure.
So you're aware of that issue.
Gotta leave.
No, I do it while I'm driving. I'm good.
You gotta leave that
Multitask.
cell phone in the glove compartment, man. Yeah, you're gonna be a lot better off. So I see on today's newspaper, $100 million at stake for local roadways. This is for the appeal to the Democrats.
Oh.
Newspaper.
This is the,
Appeal to the Democrats.
Oh, that's
but
what it
we're
says,
yes on
right?
6. This is regarding Proposition 6.
Yes, but I haven't even read the article, but I think you've read it, huh, Liz?
Yeah, I read it. I think it's total garbage. I did like James Gallagher's response. If you open the inside of your paper.
Yes. So he said repealing the recent gas tax increase has been a hot button issue in this year's election between the Democrats and the Republicans, with the latter being in favor. So I don't want to read the whole article here, but it pretty much, they've got the money already to take care of the roads, but they always need more money. So this money is not going to go for the roads, I don't believe. It's your typical propaganda scare tactic program. That's what,
And the
without
Appeal
even
Democrat
reading
is
the
complicit
article.
in it, too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They're always complicit.
You know what the Appeal Democrat missed is the no on Measure K.
Well, how could they miss that?
Well, I think that what the Appeal Democrat is trying to do right now is allow those 5 supervisors that all voted unanimously for the money grab and Robert Bendorf to get their story straight before they need to come up with something before they put it in the paper.
Bend over.
Yep.
Well, anyway, the bottom line for me, I just grabbed this on the way out the door. But without even reading the headline, without even reading the article, I can tell you what it's going to say.
Weren't the chickens mad?
It's going to say that how bad they need this money and how bad the people need to pay it.
And the sky's going to fall
Yeah.
if you don't pass it.
How the
And the
roads are
bullet
gonna-
train needs it. The train to nowhere.
Yeah.
That's
So
what they're after, that money.
I say yes on 6, yes on 6, yes on 6. Keep them from digging in our wallet any deeper. No matter what, they're going to find another way into your wallet. Somehow, somewhere, some way, it's going to be a fee, it's going to be this, that, or the other whenever you engage in any kind of activity with the government. Because,
They're coming after you next. Services.
yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, too, here in the business world. We have to get a business license in the city that we're operating in, like my business is in Yuba City. But not only that, in the last 8-10 years, whenever you step foot in another city to do any work, they want you to
They
get a
want
business
you-
license in that city, and then another city, and another city. It's just ridiculous, you know? So,
Well, and then what's bad is then they're making me the policing agency, being the general contractor,
That's
to make
right.
sure you have your city business license
that is
before
a
you
fact.
come set foot on my property
And
to
they're-
build in that city.
They're paying
Yes.
you for that, right?
Oh no,
Oh,
but,
Okay.
I get the fine. I get a fine,
Oh.
and then Tom gets a fine also if he's building for us. We both get fined because I didn't make sure and be the policing agency for them. I wasn't the extortionist for them
Man.
to make him go down and get his
That's a
business
fact.
license. And it's no joke. That's what's going on.
Yes.
You know, if we didn't have, if we had that money they used to sue us with,
Or,
we'd be fat.
Yes, we would. We'd be the
Or-
city.
like Lou Benninger talks about all the time, the money they're using to promote and advertise these tax increases on the people,
Yeah.
which is illegal.
Completely illegal.
Yep.
Well, that's what happened with Kay.
Right.
But what's going to happen with Kay is what I hear is the allegedly the supervisors felt so bad that they're going to pay that money back out of their own pocket.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah, of course they are.
Don't hold your breath.
Well, I said allegedly, right? But you know what, folks? That's a very good idea. And that actually came from, well, a person pretty close to the group that said, I don't know if they want to be known or not. So, but the fact is they had a really good idea of why doesn't the Yuba County supervisors pay that money back out of their own pocket, since they did
Yeah.
obviously break the law with the FPPC violation. They ought to be the ones to pay that money back out of their
And
own
Robert
pocket.
Vindorf.
Yeah, okay.
He's the administrator.
Okay. Then, yeah, I mean, that would be an awesome idea. Mm-hmm. Let's get our money
let's-
back out of their hide.
We could do a campaign like that.
So, is it fly by the seat of your pants type legislation, right? So
Listen, they were told, those supervisors, you talk about stone deaf, because people told them it was illegal what they were doing, but they just trudged ahead and did it anyways. What's going to be interesting on K is how they choose to proceed from here, because it was in violation of Prop 218, right? We know that. So if they have it in there, from what I was told is they have it in as a general tax, but it is actually supposed to be a special tax. So, I mean, we're coming down to the wire on this, and now if they trudge forward, they've got to have 2/3 of the vote, which that's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot.
But hey, the people in
Well-
the city of Marysville voted for themselves to have a 1% sales tax increase. Okay, remember that?
Oh, yes.
They were hornswoggled into that program, and you know
Say
what?
that again? Hornswoggle?
Yes, hornswoggled. Yeah,
I like
I
that.
don't.
That's Greek.
Is that Greek? I don't know where it came from, but I've heard it and I liked it.
Yeah.
But I noticed when I drove through Marysville how smooth the roads are now. and
Oh, you must have come down Fifth Street, huh?
everything is just as they said it would be.
Right.
Yes. I wasn't jostled about a bit.
I think Hornswoggle came from this guy.
I'm a chicken hawk. I'm a chicken hawk. I'm a chicken hawk. I'm a chicken hawk. And I'm gonna take you home.
We haven't talked about
I ain't got all day.
our chicken hawk lately.
Dr. Dennis Hawk. That's Dennis Hawk for everybody out there that doesn't know the inside scoop.
He
on that.
actually has an event today.
Oh, he does, really?
Uh-huh. It's out in District 4 in Sutter County. A couple that came over to the headquarters. They were having, candidates to their home. Very nice people. But I was invited, and I said, "Oh, that probably would go over like a lead balloon."
Do you want to take some Kleenex?
Yeah.
We can start the delivery of the Kleenex right now because it's going to be more than one.
Piling up at the headquarters.
Yeah, so if we could maybe you could take and drop off some Kleenex now for him. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make a clarification on the whole Kleenex deal.
Yeah.
The backstory. So, in the primary election, we were delivered a box of Kleenex
Out here to the
out
radio
here to
station.
the radio station because we were told it was it came from Dennis Houck's manager, who also happens to be his wife. So we received this box of Kleenex from Carrie Houck with the sentiment that we're going to need the Kleenex for all the tears that we're going to be shedding on election night. That, we needed the Kleenex to dry our tears. So in a reciprocal gesture, we are simply collecting boxes of Kleenex to donate back to them for their election night in the general election.
No, your heart is just so good, Tammy.
Yes.
Reciprocal.
Yes, it is a reciprocal gesture. So it's merely, but guess what? Who gets called the bully?
That'd be me. I can own that name.
He owns it.
I can own it.
Yes.
It's all good.
So-
I'm also. What is the new word? Tom's the irritator.
You're
He's
crass.
an irritant.
Not irritated.
You're
You're
an
an irritant.
Yes.
Irritant. Thank
Irritant.
you. You guys did that perfectly.
And
We're working on
what was
collaborating
mine?
on some things.
You are
I forget.
antagonist.
Yes, I'm antagonistic.
And I am pure evil. That's what Scary Carrie Houck. That's my label.
Okay, pure evil.
That's the
evil.
same. That's the same label they
Antagonist.
gave to Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the irritant.
You're in good company.
Yeah. Yes. They
So-
didn't they
It
say
sounds
that?
like a bunch of superheroes to me.
You and Bill are gonna need to get your act together because you guys have not been labeled yet.
I'm
Well,
just,
you
I'm just
called
as
her
bad.
a bubble-headed beach blonde.
I never
The
said
other
that.
day.
I never ever said. I would
The
never say that
song
about
you
them.
played for me did.
Well, but I would never say that myself. Bully, bully, bully.
All right, so we need to do a reset here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get some focus.
Reset.
Yeah. that original entry, it just threw me off my game.
I know, because it took me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. I'm like, what the heck? Who's this? Maybe you should play it again.
And nobody heard it.
I know, nobody heard it. We heard it.
Nobody heard it
For the
either.
first time.
Maybe. I don't know. When we come back, we'll play it.
There's a little
gonna
feature,
be one of these
Bill, a
days.
little feature on your phone. It's called Silent. Use it.
It's going to be one of those days.
A Twilight Zone day.
Yeah, it's going to be a Twilight Zone day. So, anyways,
So we're at the last day of September. I know she's not listening, but it is my 11-year-old granddaughter's birthday
Oh,
today.
God bless her.
Give a shout out to my little Presley, precious Presley.
Hello, Presley.
Happy birthday.
It is the end of the third quarter.
Yeah,
yes,
you
it
know what that
is.
means to me? Time to pay the recology bill, right?
Yes. It's the third quarter, and we're going into the last quarter of the year. Yeah. So for me, it means I have to put in all my quarterly reports.
And estimates.
Yes. And
Right?
estimated tax, all that good stuff. Yes.
You don't do that yourself, do you? Got a text person that does that for you?
No, I do it.
He does it.
Yes. Yeah. It's
He
it's
told
not
us
that
that
difficult. Yeah.
well, I need Dave Shaw for that. I'm
So-
lucky to have Dave Shaw.
Yeah.
Hey, did you
Anyway,
hear about Dave Shaw?
the time has flown by. No, what happened with Dave?
On Friday, was it Friday? It had to have been Friday. Many of Dave Shaw's signs were vandalized, including the billboard on Highway 99.
Was it just one of the billboards? Because he's got 3. One was his business and 2 were the campaign.
I saw the one on 99 for myself,
Yeah,
and
I
I
saw the
believe
one.
that was the only one. But I find it really interesting that there weren't any other signs vandalized.
Now,
And
can you elaborate on the vandalism? Were they lit on fire? Were they
no spray paint.
spray
somebody took,
painted
like,
over?
silver paint
Uh-huh.
and just spray painted all over. I mean, these billboards are like a huge investment. It was like $1,200 or something. Is a lot. And just spray painted all
So
over.
they had to shinny up there,
Yeah.
up on a billboard, or have a ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked, how does somebody get to a billboard? Well, they told me, you back in a truck with a ladder, and then they have the ladder on the billboards. But I think that's pretty brazen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody had cameras.
Uh-huh.
Oh, maybe.
I
Maybe
was
not.
told, please do not speculate who the culprit
Yes.
could be
Well,
or
Well,
culprits.
I mean, we can pretty much assume it's someone that doesn't like Dave Shaw.
Yeah, but guess what? It's backfiring on him because
Yes.
people now are saying, you know what? That is so wrong. He must really be a threat. I want that guy in for city council.
Yeah.
Well, that's
cool.
what we see it as. We see it as, okay, well, you're doing something right because you're really hitting somebody's buttons.
Yeah.
I have to say that I got a phone call at home this last week, and it was a survey from, and usually we don't take too many phone calls at home because we know it's going to be something along that line. So I just happened to pick up the phone because every now and then I like to take the survey. So I must be crazy. But anyway, I decided to do the survey, and it was for the city council seats in Yuba City. And, it says press 1 if you like this guy, 2 if you like that guy, and blah, blah, blah. And then at the very end of it, would you vote for any incumbents? And then,
That's an odd
Yeah,
question,
yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
okay, that was toward the end. And the very last series of questions, it was something like, can you give 1 to 10 on how important these statements are, or what do you think is the most important thing for the city of Yuba City to do right now, and it was a whole list of them, repair the roads and the same old song and dance that we hear, better law enforcement, more fire protection. I don't even remember, so stuff like that. But I was very interested that for this little small town Yuba City race, someone had
There's big
sponsored that.
stakes.
You had to
There's big stakes here.
you had to pay someone to do that.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe the city paid for it. Who knows?
Well, I think they're experiencing for the first time very active campaigning against the incumbents. And people are very receptive to that message. And
It's time for new leadership.
It is time for new leadership. And people like to hear that. And I can't even guess how many people listen to this radio station because every time I hear something, it's like, wow, that was talked about on our radio show. Wonder where they got that idea.
What I like is, though, if you listen to anybody who doesn't like us, they never, ever listen.
Yeah,
But, boy, they sure are quick to fire on us whenever we talk about them.
they know all about it. They know all about it, but they never
That's
listen.
it. Interesting.
Somebody told them.
Yeah, somebody must have told them. That's it. Because they can recite it word for word.
Well, so the city or somebody that's running or something along that line is very interested in the results.
I think the proper word would be worried.
Yes.
I don't think it's interested. I
Yeah.
think they're scared out of their pants.
Yeah. So somebody is worried about how this vote's going to go down.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting to get.
And it could
that
very well
little-
could be the city. If I was Darren Gale and I was whatever his name is, Steve Krager, I'd be scared to death right now. Just my 2 cents.
Well, there are definitely some things that going in day one that can be done, and they will be immediately felt. We,
That is, if the people, the right people get elected, and then they're willing to do what needs to be done. So
Yes.
and also I do believe you probably will face a certain amount of restriction, and you might not be able to do as much as you think you were going to be able to do. You know what I mean? So it's going to take. It's not going to be no picnic for whoever gets in there to try and affect some change
when-
that's good for the people.
When you explain it to people that, look, there's 5 members that sit on the council, and right now 3 are up for re-election, and one already is not rerunning. But when you consider the fact that 3 of the 5 are up for reelection, which means we can get a whole new makeup of who sits on that council, it's very encouraging for people who may have, some kind of, they're not happy with one thing or another. But then you understand that, okay, so Preet's not rerunning, so there's one seat, which I believe is going to Dave Shaw. He's getting that open seat.
I don't think so. I think that blank seat is a very good possibility to go to John Buckland or Stan Cleveland.
Well, that's what I was saying next.
I was just going to say, I think Stan Cleveland and John Buckland have met their match.
Well, that's what
I really do. I think if there was no open seats, both those guys would be history.
They would be. So the open seat is definitely, it's Dave Shaw is the front runner.
Yes.
He's going to get that open seat. Buckland and Stan, one of them for sure is going to be replaced, and I believe it will be Mark Baumgarten to take that spot. Then we have our wild card. This is why we stepped out and we are supporting a third candidate. Because and I'm very glad that we finally did get to meet with Stacy Brookman and find out what he is all about, because we were very, very impressed with what he had to say. And this is why we are supporting that third candidate, because we need to ensure that we get that replacement, that we do not have those incumbents this next time around.
Yeah.
And those 3 are the men who are going to complement each other the best. They're going to work well together, and they are really going to affect some change.
So I think that we might see that third seat go to Suk Sidhu. That's what I'm just, that's my premonition.
I don't know.
Reason,
No, I don't agree.
I think it will play out that way, but we'll see. Because I believe the East Indian community is going to vote his direction.
I think too many people have that misconception that they all vote the same, and there's so many factions that they do not agree,
Yeah.
and they're too split. He's not going to get the full support of that entire community. He's not.
Yeah, but when I'm out and about, okay, and like these debates and stuff, he's definitely in the Democrat camp. Okay, so and what's interesting too, like I noticed, sometimes I'll get up and shake hands, mingle around when we have little intermissions in these forums. When I was at Gallagher's, I just sat in my seat, okay, and I just tried to watch the demographics of the whole meeting and the people and stuff like that. And I didn't get out and mix around. So, yeah, I have been, I'm trying to tone down my irritability also too. At the
you
same
are
time.
quite an irritant.
Yeah. So, anyway, when I'm watching it, it was after Nielsen and his communist opponent. Okay, we had a little intermission, and I mean, to me, that guy Kim, and I asked him afterwards. I said, "Are you a communist, or you sound like a communist?" And he said, "Well, I'm borderline." Okay, that's what he told me. I'm borderline. I prefer to call myself a socialist, but
He must have thought you were a comrade, huh?
he might have thought that until he talked to me a little bit. But then, but what was interesting to me is that the whole Democratic populace there flocked around this candidate. And Suk Sidhu was right in there with him, and I thought to myself, it doesn't matter what the candidate says, they're all in
Mind
with him,
numbed robot.
So with the Republicans, it's a little bit different program. We might say, well, I like
At
that
least with
part,
these
but I don't
Republicans.
like that part. But that's kind of how I saw it anyway. The Democrats, they're all in for their candidate, and because I don't think they have the same moral code, I'll put it that way, that the Republicans have.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but it's hard to lead people who can think for themselves, because I mean, if if you're trying to lead a group of self-thinkers, it's a little bit more difficult to keep them corralled. They're going to ask the tougher questions like we ask.
Sure.
They're going to want to know how does this benefit them? They're not just going to follow blindly off the cliff. So the Republicans have got a little bit harder niche to carve just because of who the Republican part, who's in the Republican part.
Yeah.
Is that why
I
Sue
think that's-
never showed up here or never called us back or never responded to our emails?
I think Suk is full-blown left-wing Democrat to the bone.
Well, I found it interesting because we are all very open and receptive to other ideas, and we will listen. And I think that's what makes us good vetters of these candidates, and that's why we've upset some of the people in the Republican Party, because if it's not necessarily the Republican that's the best candidate. The best example of that is our sheriff race. I'm sorry, the one Republican that is running is not the choice for that race. It's the declined state.
Sometimes you got to throw out the dirty, rotten Republican and let a dirty, rotten Democrat get in there.
But the thing is,
just to teach them a lesson too.
I had a great conversation with Suk at the fair, and I was very open to having further conversation with him because we were finding common ground, it was a very, I thought, good exchange of ideas, and I, at that point personally invited him, let him know who we were or who I was, and gave him my information. And so from that personal contact, we didn't get a response. And then I reached out again with an email, didn't get a response. I think I called the number, but it had a really weird outgoing message. I wasn't comfortable leaving a message on it because it wasn't like, this is Suk Sidhu. It was something else. It was different. And I think you did, Liz, and then Bill did. So we all reached out and never did hear from him. So that ship sailed, and luckily...
Well, now, that's not uncommon because we've all reached out to Assemblyman Gallagher, too, and haven't heard from him either.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but we did get some signs. So a little gremlin came by and left some signs behind a post at the headquarters. Yes. Left some signs, so we do have some Assemblyman Gallagher signs and some Jim Nielsen signs.
I'm telling you, I was at that meeting or that debate, and the lady that opposed him, she could hardly put a sentence together, man. So that was my.
But she just needed a drink.
That was my take on the matter. He's going to slaughter her in this race.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, James, and I support James. It's just that James doesn't support us.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. That's the way life is, though, sometimes.
I think that if James really wanted to do something for his constituents, he would. I think he's the best hope to take out Garamendi.
Yeah.
And
Charlie's doing all right.
But Charlie is a fine candidate. It's not about that. It's about what we talked about last week with the redistricting and the gerrymandering and the Yolo and the Solano counties.
Yep.
And in those areas, I think that James Gallagher would be very attractive to that demographic.
Maybe. Yeah. You might have a point there, Liz. And
I've been saying it for 2 years, and I've even said it to people that are within his employ or his people that represent him, work with him.
Curtis still talks to you?
Well, he used to. He doesn't talk to me much these days. But
it's because you're socializing with the irritant.
We love you, Curtis.
Well, I'm telling you what, if he really wanted to make a difference, I think that he would be the one to take out Garamendi. I saw Garamendi this morning on the news, and he is just so disconnected. Well, he doesn't represent us.
No,
well, remember,
but he's a politician, man, because he on his billboards he has fair, respectful, three little words that he's using. Okay, and he made sure to use all three of those when he was on that candidate night. Mm-hmm. So these are polished. He's a polished politician, is what he is.
You remember the great reception he got when he said "No guns in school."
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, the night. Yeah, you were sitting there.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
yes. I remember that. Yeah, it was we had a big outburst in the audience when that took place, yes. So it was definitely a split outburst. Yeah, but it was fun to watch. So back to the city council, I think that's my take. I think old Suk might clinch that other seat, but I mean that's not who I'm voting for. I'm hoping to see the three guys that we think will try to work for the people.
Dave
Shaw,
Shaw,
Mark Boomgarden, and Stacy Brookman.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I think is going to be even more interesting than that is to see how Manny Cardoza and Sean Harris interact with the new people, because we know we're going to get Dave Shaw and Mark Boom. We're getting them. So if the other two that are not up for re-election,
Mean the grease gun?
Yes, that's what
I
Manny
think
the
they
Grease
I
gun.
think they're going to work well together. I actually think that will be a good group, and we will be in a good
Watching
place
them
for at least 2
closely.
years.
Well, and check this out. So just to go here real quick, I want to go back to my meeting with John Buckland last Saturday. If you take a look at what Nikki is calling a conspiracy theory,
Now, who's Nikki again?
I don't know her last name.
Grimminger.
Grimminger. And she,
And is she in relation
I-
to anybody?
I
Yes,
don't know.
we've been told by numerous people that she is his daughter. Now, she posted on YouTube herself speaking about herself in the third person by saying she, because
That's indicative of mental illness.
she
isn't
was
it?
the one who came across the table at Jason, because she has her little icon picture next to her comment, and I showed it to Jason. He's like, yeah, that's the one. That's the gal. She's the one who came across the table. She's the one who absolutely lost it.
So this could be his daughter.
it is his daughter.
Oh,
We've
it is?
heard from
Oh,
many
okay.
people that
Well,
it
I
is.
thought it might be like,
she's denying it.
I thought it might be like Chelsea Clinton, because they say Webb Hubble's her daddy,
well,
and she
allegedly,
looks like Webb Hubble.
They do look
She
a lot
does.
Right?
alike, don't
allegedly,
they?
from everything we've heard, it is his daughter. I cannot
Okay.
confirm or deny whether it is or is not. I don't know. All I can confirm is the little picture that comes up who posted on the YouTube site is the lady that came at me over the table.
Speaking in the third person about the lady that came
So
at you.
let me do this real quick. She said on there that it's a conspiracy, and I wrote back I couldn't get the pictures and the information that I wanted on the YouTube, so I wrote on the YouTube, go and check the Yuba Sutter Political Spotlight Facebook page, and this is what's on there, folks. I've pinned it to the top again just now, so you can go there and take a look for yourselves what I posted. But she said it was a conspiracy. And all I did, folks, was take the picture that John Buckland posted from his Facebook page saying, I'm doing sweet time with Republic Services at Golden One Center. Let's go Kings. January 10th, 2017.
That's right.
The other portion of it that I took from the Yuba City website is dated January 24th, 2017.
It's the
where-
minutes from their special
the
meeting.
minutes from their special meeting that had John Buckland putting forth the vote to open it up to go out to Republic Services and let them bid.
To open up the garbage service out to bid. That
So-
would directly benefit Republic Services.
If you don't think that's a conflict of interest, I got news. It is. That allegedly, maybe, whatever you want to call it, it's a conflict of interest. The minute that you take something from somebody and then vote a certain way for them,
That
that's a
benefits them?
conflict.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes, and
So then she goes on to say, I went on to say that I posted them together. So you make the call. Is there a conflict of interest? Is there really a need for this city councilman to be in office? Not anymore. I don't think so. I mean, and I went there because he said he was going to set the record straight. Well, what he set the record straight on was he said, I'm going to go to any basketball game I like with whoever I like, and if they want to purchase the ticket and I write it on my 700 form, I can go, and I'm going to go. Well, I got news for you. That's going to get you unelected, buddy. And that's really what I'm hoping is everybody will pull together. We're going to uneelect him and get him out of that seat because he needs to go.
Okay.
So-
Can you explain this conspiracy
Yeah,
charge?
that's what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Is so she said it was there's just a conspiracy. Well, I wrote back that realistically, it looks like the only conspiracy here is between John Buckland and Republic Services, because why would you try and deny it? But you'd put it on your 700 form that you took $250 for a ticket, and then 14 days later, you voted in favor to let somebody else come in and bid for what Recology pretty much had locked down and done for a while on their services.
At the potential of raising all our rates in Yuba City,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
And
Okay.
so it looks like to me the only conspiracy there is between John Buckland and Republic Services. And John, if you don't like it, I'm free to talk, buddy. I would much rather do it one-on-one to where I don't got to fight and fend off your wife and your daughter if that's who it is, because you need to be a man and stand up to this and not put them in the way to argue with me. I'm not going to argue with a lady. Not that I'm saying that they're ladies. I'm just saying I'm not going to argue with the lady, because the fact is that's not what I was put here to do. I'm a man. I want to argue eye to eye with a man and know that if it gets rough and tumble that I can defend myself, because I'm not going to defend myself against a lady. It's not going to happen. I'm going to have egg on my face all day long. So I'm going to sit there and take it and be done with it. But the fact is you need to step up and defend your own battles, dude. Really. You need to be the man of your family and stand up for yourself and take care of it, because that is not what happened at that meeting.
So there's conspiracy theory, and then there's actual conspiracy.
Exactly.
Right?
So we're a conspiracy. We got called conspiracy it was a conspiracy theory of this that I have posted up here. And like I say, it's posted up right now. I'm going to leave it up for another week. Last time it got like 2,500 views. This time we're up to another 146 views. And look at that, it's going up. So
I just shared it.
but
Imagine that.
nobody listens. So I don't know how it's going up. But anyways,
It's magic.
So the fact is once we get through this again, I'm going to go ahead and fly our because last time we did a survey, and 96 or 97% of the people thought there was a conflict of interest. So we're going to do that again next week. We'll pin that to the top also and see what the people think, if there's a conflict of interest or not again. Because I'm telling you, it's pretty blatant. And if you would have just went to the meeting and explained yourself and not fired on me, it would have went a lot smoother, and not had your wife dog me down, not had your allegedly your daughter beat me up.
Didn't his wife say something about you were lying? You had the dates wrong.
Yeah,
it was
the
a year
dates were
apart.
wrong. It was a year apart and everything else. And John's trying to shush her and hold her back. I was embarrassed for you, buddy. I really was. I mean, my wife, I love
would
her.
never shush my husband.
Or she would never fight my battles for me either. She knows I can handle my own. I can stand on my own 2 feet, and she'd let me do that. She may have some rebuttal afterwards.
Did
but
you just say
might
she would
pile
let
on.
you do that?
Yes, well, and that's a nice way of saying it. But she knows that I can deal with my own, and she does stay out of the way. She's
Yes.
like, okay, he's got this. He can deal with it. He's a big boy.
She respects your position.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you can tell that family does not. I mean, it was bad, and I really feel bad for him.
Well, that's it's time for new leadership.
It is.
It's time for him to go.
Yeah.
But I want to say that I think that is business as usual throughout most of government these days. Okay, it's all greasing the wheels. Okay, these guys are taking them to games and doing this and doing that. It's just overrun with that.
Well,
Corruption.
I can tell you next time I go, I will definitely be wearing a body cam it was really pretty comical. And just the way she came at me with, you're just sitting there shaking, waiting to pounce on him. Well, no, I really wasn't. I was being polite and not saying anything until it was my turn to speak.
Did we ever contact Starbucks on the corner of Bogue and Garden Highway to see if they had any surveillance of that whole escapade?
No, I didn't, but I should. I should ask them.
I don't think they're going to give up anything.
Yeah.
I don't either, but it would be
something like that.
funny because I mean it was very in your face type deal, and then just the way they came at me, and then they also fired at Tammy. Mrs. Buckland
I wasn't there, but
fired at Tammy. She wasn't there, but your wife posted this on the whatever day it was,
she said Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday, and it messed up our whole day and da 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 da. Well, if it wasn't true, how'd it mess up your whole day? I mean, sometimes the truth has to hurt.
And I just finally figured out very recently how to do a post on Facebook.
Yeah, that was all me, but I wasn't going to tell her that because I was afraid of what the repercussions were going to be at that time. I mean, I'm used to arguing with men. I have no problem with it. I actually, in college, my professor used to always tell me, he says, Jason, arguing with the pig in mud is like wrestling with arguing with the building inspector. After a while, you figure out you're never going to win, and the pig actually likes it. So I don't mind arguing. I like it, and I think I'm
But you
fairly
can
good at
win. You can win.
it. You can,
Yes.
and I excel at winning,
Yes.
but that's my
And you
job.
might like it just like the pig.
Exactly, but you got to like it to be able to do it
Yeah.
well. But anyways, that's enough said about that. But the fact is the guy is not suited to be a city councilman, especially with his attitude of he's going to take whatever he wants, whenever he wants, from whoever he wants, and then go ahead and vote whenever he
Yes.
wants.
And you
for
know
anything.
what?
He's pimping himself out.
Yeah.
He's being a whore.
He's got that right, right?
He does.
I'm sick
yeah.
of these political
So,
wars.
and we got the right to say we don't want him.
We got the right to say we don't like it. We don't
Yes.
think
Right.
it's right.
Yes. Yes.
And by God, we're not going to vote for it.
and that is what an election is for.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Hiring and firing.
Yep.
And
Time to do some firing.
we don't hate him because he's said he's going to do what he wants to do. We say more power to you.
More power to you. That's
Yeah.
what I plan
Yeah.
to
Do it
Thanks
as a
for being
private
open.
citizen.
You know,
So
I
at the-
like John Buckland. He reminds me of Ned Flanders on The Simpsons. Every time I get really, really uptight about Buckland, I just picture Ned Flanders. And I feel like I'm being Stan Cleveland. It's talking myself off the ledge,
So,
rubbing my earlobes.
at the end of my post, I put, can stand Chuck Buck. Words to live by on election day. Let's vote these clowns out of office. Our city has been their circus long enough.
Oh.
And that's the way I feel.
And hopefully that the newcomers that get in there will get down to taking care of business for the people.
What?
Yeah.
And they will also have a filter called the Constitution that
Well-
they can filter all their decisions through that Bill of Rights.
The one thing that I really want to put out there real quick now is Dave Shaw, Mark Baumgarten, and Stacy Brookman. Dave Shaw, Stacy Brookman own their own businesses. They don't need a job. Mark Baumgarten is the president of Valley Truck and Tractor. He doesn't need a job. These guys do not need a job. They don't like the way things are going, and they want to make a change. None of them are in it for the money. I don't think any one of them can be bought off. I don't think they need the money to go to a Kings game. If they want to go to a Kings game, they go to a Kings game. I mean, and that's what you need in there. You don't need somebody begging for a handout. You need guys who can stand on their own 2 feet, have a good life, do what they want to do when they want to do it, and they're not going to be corruptible.
And they're not in it for any ego, too. There's some people that want to be there just for ego.
No, and you want to talk about ego. I mean, Mark Baumgarten should have an ego bigger than, I don't know, as big as it
Bigger
could
than
be.
the state of Montana.
Because, I mean,
But he doesn't.
The guy was one of the youngest fire chiefs.
He's pretty
Was a
humble.
really good fire chief. And, I mean, just a really good guy. And I was amazed. I'm floored at how humble he is.
He's a humble man.
He very well is,
Yeah.
and he's just. I think he's really what we need for Yuba City, and the same thing with Dave Shaw. Dave Shaw is just. All three of them though are the same way. They want to
Make a difference.
make a difference and do what is right for the city and the people in the city. They don't want to do right by the city employees so much. I mean the line staff they're all good with. They understand those people are hardworking people. They want to just go to work, get the job done, and go home. But the upper management, Yeah, they've got a real issue.
They understand they don't work for the directors. They work for the people.
Exactly.
They work for us.
Yep. And they're that liaison between the directors and the people, not the other way around.
And hopefully there's a big wake-up call
Now,
on
just
the
to
first Tuesday in November.
that's gonna be
just
awesome.
to give Darren a attaboy. He's
Oh my God.
he's coming home at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night.
From what? The bar?
No,
No.
Oh.
He doesn't drink.
Oh, he doesn't? Okay.
No.
no.
Well, I'm just wondering where he's coming home from because I
Well,
don't
from
care.
work.
You know what? I come home sometimes at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Doesn't mean I'm coming from work. But the fact is, everybody comes home that late at night, so I'm not worried about that. Could care less.
I just got to give him a kiss every
I
once
know
in a
you do.
while.
I don't know why, but
Last night I was at a fundraiser for Dave Shaw.
yep.
And I am telling you what, I have never seen a better fundraiser in my entire life. It was so organized. And if Dave Shaw can run the city like he did that fundraiser, I mean, people were literally just, he raised a boatload of money. I know he did. But people are so ready for change.
Yes.
They're so ready. It was packed. People had a great time. He is hope in a bottle.
Well, I'm just telling you right now that Dave Shaw never disappoints. I mean, I went out and hung signs with the guy, and we had a blast. Every time I'm with him, we have a good time. He's a fun guy. He knows how to have a good time. And, yeah, he's just fun to be around.
I think he'll be the guy that will say, we're going to have to trim the fat.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Or
I-
as Lou Binninger calls it, a haircut.
Going to give him a
Haircut.
6-inch haircut.
And I
Yep.
also believe he'll be the guy to turn around to the other city councilman and say, hey, you know what? This guy's speaking at the mic. We need to listen to what he has to say. Put the iPad down, put the Game Boy away, and listen to what this man has to say.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do that more than once.
Wouldn't that be a welcome change?
I
You
really expect that, but I also expect that from Mark Boomgarden. I think all those guys are going to be paying attention to what the people want and really kind of turning a cold shoulder to whenever, the Darren Gales get up there and speak and Steve Krager gets up there and speaks. They're going to be like, yeah, that's not going to be so good for the people. Let's see what the people have to say.
Hey, that reminds me of when John Missler, I think on his advertisement, he says, for once, wouldn't it be nice for someone to listen to what the people are saying?
True transparency.
Yes, in true transparency.
We
in
got to
government.
cue that up for our boy,
Yeah.
John Missler.
Yes.
You know, if the city council and the board of supervisors have been listening to Phil Trainer over the last 8 years, instead of being $60 million in the hole for the city and $170 million for the county.
I don't know if I'm talking out of class about this, but Phil Trainer is sheer brilliance.
Yes.
He is one of the most cerebral people I have ever talked to. And let me tell you this, Bill Beeler.
Yeah.
He has been meeting with Dave Shaw.
Cool.
Not because Phil Trainer has reached out to Dave Shaw. Dave Shaw reached out to Phil.
And
because
city council and board of supervisors, all they do is roll their eyes and poo-poo him.
Okay, so for me, I'm in the dark.
Okay.
I don't know who Phil Trainer is. Is he a
He's
sports trainer?
No, he's come along. He's
Who is he?
I don't know
Who
him
is this guy?
personally, but I've experienced his downfall at public functions, and they all just poo-poo him and
So
roll their
he's
eyes.
just
He's
a
he's-
member of the public,
Uh-huh.
the
He
general
is,
public.
yes.
But
He's-
he's no
he-
dummy.
Oh, no.
No.
He lives in District 4 in Sutter County, and he is an expert on this whole CalPERS bubble
Yeah.
that we're currently
Oh.
faced with.
Good.
And he has really down-to-earth common sense ways to start paying this down. But see, they don't like that.
No, they want
The
a
government wants
perpetual debt enslavement program.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember? We are paying for our own. Do you remember what I said? We are paying for our own bondage.
Yes, bondage. Yeah. I was just looking for the right word. I was going to say
We are paying
enslavement.
yes, we are paying for our own bondage.
Yes.
And I say, hell to the no, we're done now. It's time for new leadership, and we can do it. Isn't this I mean, we should all be so excited at the opportunity that is ahead of us, that people that have no reason to run for government want to.
Right, because I believe they realize that we're on the we're right at the cliff's edge.
That's right.
We're on
Yeah.
that choo-choo to nowhere.
Yes. Yes.
So thank God for Dave Shaw and Mark Boomgarden and
Yeah.
Stacy. Oh,
So
What a blessing to have them all three at the same time at this point in time.
Yes.
I think that is just meant to be.
the stars are aligning
Stars
for
are aligning.
Sutter County and Yuba City.
now I want to switch gears briefly to Kavanaugh.
You got a minute
Okay.
and 20 seconds.
Yeah, I figure I can get it in there.
Okay.
So I heard today, and I haven't researched it all at all, but that the lady Ford,
Dr.
Yes.
Christine Blasey Ford.
yes, that her family has got a little bit of CIA connections.
Her
going on.
brother works for Fusion GPS.
Yes.
Oh my!
That's-
What a coincidence!
Okay, and that she might be a CIA operator as far as helping to recruit out of the colleges for the CIA, and well, you know,
We'll go into
so I'm just saying these are
The
little
fusion.
things that I heard,
Yeah.
and her husband is involved in peddling psychotropic drugs or something, or manufacturing or something along that line. Interesting.
Pusher man.
So
Well, I know that she's on the receiving end of a couple of GoFundMe pages, and I think she's up to like $900,000 now.
yeah, what a deal.
When her attorneys are being comped to
It's-
her.
All right. We have to take a break. When we come back, I'll try and push the right button.
Check out the Territorial Dispatch. Papers are weekly and can be obtained free at distribution or by mail through subscription. It's the only locally owned and operated newspaper in the region. The paper is the rest of the story. And also check out the E-Territorial. It's an online version of the Territorial Dispatch which features local news and events for the Yuba Sutter, Colusa, and Nevada County areas. You'll also find daily and breaking news updates, current traffic, and weather information, along with a calendar of local events. Visit the E-Territorial at eterritorial.com.
Attention Yuba City voters. In just a few short years, the City Council has voted to increase our water, sewer, and garbage bills, and even started discussion on a sales tax increase. It's an out-of-control money grab. I'm Dave Shaw, a veteran, small business owner, and community volunteer, and I'm running for Yuba City Council. As a local resident for over 30 years, I'm the CEO of Shaw & Associates and an expert in wealth management, taxes, and accounting. I was voted Yuba Sutter's best financial advisor, and my firm was named the 2017 Small Business of the Year. As your councilman, I will move funds from administration to public safety and road repairs. I'll revisit the water and garbage rate increases, and I'll stop the dump because residents do not want a transfer station in the middle of town. And I will fight to stop giving pensions to council members. Remember, vote Dave Shaw for Yuba City Council. Proudly paid for by Dave Shaw for Yuba City Council.
My name is Mark Boomgarden, and I believe in hard work, honesty, American values, and service to the community. Those are the values that have guided me in a lifetime of serving Yuba City as a firefighter, fire chief, businessman, and community volunteer. Those are also the values that have led me to run for council. This is not about fame, climbing the political ladder, or for money. At least, it's not for me. That is why I will not accept any benefits and will donate 100% of my city council pay to local charities. I will tackle wasteful spending, make fighting crime a top priority, bring new focus to dealing with the growing homeless problem, ensure better disaster preparedness, and invest in fixing our roads and water infrastructure. This is our city, yours and mine, so I will always listen and be accessible to you. That's why I've put my personal phone number on all of my campaign material. To learn more, visit markboomgarden.com. That's Mark with a C, Boomgarden with 2 O's and 2 A's. This is Mark Boomgarden, and I approve this message.
What if you, for the very first time, had true transparency in government? If I'm elected to the board, and I expect that I will, it would be my intention that I will be very much involved in the day-to-day operations of the county, to a larger degree than I have been even as a watchdog. So let me assure you, the public will know more about their government than they do today.
Okay. All right, we're back. That was a little bit better. I can't believe how sketchy I am with.
Hey, we almost got him retrained.
Almost. It'll be another day. One more show, and I'll be back to normal.
So, welcome back, Yuba Sutter. You are listening to the Political Spotlight. We are high atop Mount Huth at 1410 AM The Patriot.
And 104.3 FM.
And you know what? We need to give a shout out to One Eye Blind Media. He does a great job for us getting the show back up for people that it's may not be a convenient time to listen. But they can go to YouTube, to One Eye Blind Media, and pull up all of our shows and lose shows.
Yes, he's also awesome at letting us know when we're on the air and off the air, when the live stream's working and isn't working, when we're sounding too overdriving or not. He's very informative.
When I'm doing my job and not.
You can thank Santos for that today.
Yes, and
Mount
Santos.
Huth.
Okay.
Mount Huth, for those that don't know, it's just a little dirt hill out here in Linda.
They got so much bass rock in there. I'm thinking I'm going to get stuck here.
Yeah. So we're on top of a little hill out here in the orchard, right?
Yep.
Out here in
No,
Egypt.
we're right
Across-
next to the
out-
raceway.
Yes, across
And the-
from the flea
And the flea market.
No, the farmer's market. Nobody calls it. Flea market is derogatory. You can't say flea market anymore.
Flea
Sad.
I thought
market is Denio.
I just thought I said flea market.
Yeah, you did, but you can't say that anymore. It's
Yeah.
derogatory. It's
okay.
kind of like saying somebody's low income. You can't say that anymore.
You're gonna get
They're
flea.
What do you call 'em?
Wage income adjusted.
Just stay on the road here because the shoulders out here.
Yeah, they'll eat you
man.
alive.
You drive off the road and you
Yes.
are.
Well, sometimes you just bounce off the road.
I didn't mean to drive off the road. The road bounced me off the
That's Yuba
road.
City coming in on 20.
Well, try that. What is that? Where the Fifth Street
Fifth
Bridge
Street
is?
Bridge.
My
You come across
gosh.
that, you get down into Marysville, man, and it's just, whenever I'm in my car, it's anybody's guess what lane you're going to end up in.
If you're in a Jeep or a vehicle that's been lifted, you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
Four-wheel
boy,
drive is okay.
My goodness, you can get through it,
Yeah.
but you feel
You're
all
wobbly.
that.
You're wobbly.
You know,
Well,
you're rocking all over the
whenever
place.
I come in through that stiff suspension car, it's, I mean, it's just all over the road, back and forth, back and forth. You need both lanes, that's for sure.
You know, not all of us can afford a $65,000 performance vehicle. Quit your bragging.
Hey, that's why
We don't have
I
this
was
one.
I was in the Lexus.
That goes 140 miles an
I want to
hour.
go faster than that. That's just
Allegedly.
Tammy's limit.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
That's when Tammy starts beating you over the head.
She starts hitting that imaginary brake on her side.
Hey, we got.
Alleged brake.
Oh, Liz, you just unplugged yourself.
Oh, gosh.
So,
I did.
Liz, this is
Liz,
Liz.
I can't
Unplugged.
believe you did that, Liz.
Unplugged.
I can't believe you did that. I cannot.
Good thing
I
this
cannot
isn't
believe it.
television.
And you
Okay.
weren't even gone last week.
So I
Yeah,
want to go
what's
back
your
to,
excuse?
to John Missler, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that commercial is so beautiful that the public, he says, when he's elected, the public is going to know more about their government, you know.
Yes.
And,
they do today.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I
we
believe
got to
it.
push for that write-in. He's a write-in candidate. He lost the primary by 14 votes. So it's critical that we get out and vote this
Gotta
election,
get those
guys.
14
What's-
people that didn't vote out this time, plus the other ones that did.
Yes.
What's going to be interesting is we're going to have some new jingles
Yes.
next week.
Oh, good.
So
I
Tammy
wrote a
one.
jingle. It was the product of insomnia.
What's awesome though is we have one special jingle that's being. I mean, we're actually getting somebody to write it
and
and
perform it.
perform it.
And
So
we're going to
it's-
record it.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very awesome.
But my jingle's more like a cheer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the cheerleaders.
It's, yep.
The other one's going to be a full-on song. I'm
Yeah.
really excited. I want to say who it's for,
I hope
come
they
on.
pattern it.
Oh, that is so unfair.
but it's for somebody who we are not supporting.
Who could that be?
I hope
So you
it's
can bet
patterned.
it will be hilarious.
It's going to be funny. It's going to
you
be
know
so
what?
funny.
That is just so cruel what you're doing.
What is
Why-
awesome is we started writing it this morning over breakfast. We would because we had to go qualify for our CCWs, well, requalify for our CCWs, and we went with another couple, and we're like, he does shows and he's in a band and stuff, and we're like, we really need to come up with a theme song for this individual, and
He came up with one right out of the blue.
I mean,
It just
like
rattled
3
off
seconds
his
he's
tongue,
going,
and I'm
You know
like,
what?
Oh my
okay,
gosh,
and he just
that's
gets
perfect.
into it, and I'm like, oh, that is so awesome.
You know why? Because he is a musical genius.
Yes.
But you can't just leave our listening people.
It's okay.
Why not?
We'll get it
Line.
recorded this week.
Haven't you ever watched The Walking Dead? You
no,
can do that.
No, let me just tell you, I'm gonna zig.
You can leave pig-
let me zig for just a minute. I have never seen that show. My oldest son used to come over to the house because I had the package that show was on. Just the sounds alone.
I know.
God.
Well,
I know.
My whole,
You
my
can't
whole
even
thing
close
about
your
it-
eyes.
My whole
because-
thing about it is if you want to say you can't leave people hanging, you just need to watch that show because you can leave people hanging every week and they'll come back. So it's okay.
Well, I prefer
very
This Is
common.
Us. If you want to leave people hanging,
That was very common in the Roman Empire.
that was
Except-
a little bit before my time, Thomas.
Impalement.
Yeah, oh
Yes.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to, if you could indulge me, and you can tell me when you want me to do this, but I would like to read our endorsement letter to John Missler.
Go for it. We
As
just
I-
played his ad, so go for
Yeah,
it.
because while we're on the subject, I'd like people to hear the endorsement letter that we drafted for him. So this is, it says, Dear Conscientious Voter, the Yuba Sutter Constitutional Republicans announces our earnest commitment to supporting the write-in candidate for Yuba County Supervisor, District 5, John Missler. This campaign has considerable potential for making the impactful statement that we, the people, do not have to settle for the lesser of two evils. More than that, we have a momentous opportunity to elect a weighty advocate for transparency in government and vigorous supporter of free speech. As the owner and editor of the Territorial Dispatch, John Missler has consistently demonstrated his advocacy for First Amendment rights and aided the people in their duty to hold government accountable to those from whom they derive their authority. As voters, we are in the unique position of having direct, irrefutable knowledge that John is well versed in the issues he will be addressing as a Yuba County supervisor, evidenced by the news media he is charged with administrating. We have also come to know how well balanced he is in his abilities to analyze those issues, and as a supervisor, he will be able to effectively act on those issues on our behalf. His highly successful Territorial Dispatch is a well-recognized newspaper throughout not only Yuba County but also surrounding counties, and has gained him respect as a proven community leader and has afforded him the high regard held among those who are fortunate to have access to his trusted media outlet. It is our pleasure to endorse John Missler for Yuba County Supervisor, District 5 in 2018. We implore the voters of District 5 to not only say no to the status quo offered by the incumbent, nor to compromise with a vote for his opponent, but to instead choose door number 3. Write in Missler on their ballots.
Hey, beautiful.
Wow.
STLER.
Yes.
MISTLER.
That
So hey,
Coming
was
soon.
inspiring.
that was well done and true.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's
Right
the
on.
nice thing. It was true. You know, there's no fluff in there. Just bare
like his
bones.
newspaper. It's
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
And
bare
wait
bones
until next
truth.
week. It's just going to get better.
I love reading the Territorial Dispatch, and then my wife subscribes to this filthy rag that appeals to Democrats. Okay, but I like to read. I like
subscribe
to
to
go
the Appeal
through that to
Democrat.
see what they're leaving out.
Yeah.
You know.
And they're leaving out a lot
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
They have not said a single solitary word about Measure K. And I think that is a travesty.
I wished I could be appealing to somebody
You're
Okay.
more than appealing to me, honey.
rather than an irritator. Well, I'm not an irritator.
I
That's Tom.
understand
You're
the
an
monkeys at the
antagonist.
zoo
I'm an
throw
antagonist.
things at you, right?
What's that?
I see the monkeys at the zoo throw things at you.
But they'll fling that at anybody. They don't discern.
That was very well written.
Yes.
Are
Very
you
well.
responsible for that?
I am.
I love some of those
Came
words.
out of this little noodle.
Earnest, implore.
John Mitzler.
Well,
Write it
it's
in.
the truth.
Yes.
Yes.
And
MISTLER.
Yeah.
and see a little change in Yuba County. Huh?
I just wish, though, that I want John to be door number 1. Even though my parents in the late 60s, they won Let's Make a Deal, and the door was door number 2. That's another story for another day. That's true, though.
Yeah.
Well, we were
Okay.
talking about the appeals to the Democrats and the Measure K thing, but they're not even covering that the Howard Jarvis Tax Association letter.
No.
No, and there is a huge violation. I don't, it's just like the grand jury report, you know? We deserve more.
What
Oh,
is what is
sure.
what grand jury report? We need to get an update on that. This is crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
just going to happen again.
I think it's pretty much they're done talking about
It's
it in
just
the
bullshit.
appeals to Democrats rag. So,
We'll get it. We'll get it. And when we do, da 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 da.
If
Duh.
it's secret
One
and
of the
it's
main
in government, it is bad news.
Yep.
Yes.
And
One
if
of-
you're keeping it secret, there's a problem.
One of the main reasons that we like this paper is that we use it in the chicken coop.
That's what I asked if you made the chickens mad when you grabbed that. That's what I was
Yeah.
referring to.
My subscription.
Our chickens are all illiterate. So,
Hey, listen.
thank God.
I
They-
just got my renewal notice from the appalling Democrat. You want to know what they want for 1 year of papers?
I don't want to know. 'Cause
Okay,
I
I'm
know,
going to tell you.
Because it's
Okay.
chicken
I'm
fodder.
going to tell you
Okay.
because I think it is outrageous. $177 for
Wow.
1 year.
Wow.
1 year.
Yeah. So I'm sure my wife's going to pay it.
Oh, she already did, hun.
Oh, she already did.
She already did.
Oh,
You know,
boy.
I provide my paper. The Appeal Democrat doesn't like to hear this, but I read my paper, and then other members of my household read the paper, and then I keep them all in a little bundle and deposit them to Lou Bininger.
Oh.
They think
yes.
that they've closed him out, but he's got he gets the already been read papers.
You got, you have the freedom to do that because you bought it, right?
That's right.
Yes. So we think it's best suited in the coop after we've seen what they left out.
I used to take the paper when I had rabbits, and they would line the rabbit hutch with them.
Yeah.
But I don't have rabbits anymore, so I have no need for the paper.
So what happened? Did you eat the rabbits?
No, no. She didn't really have rabbits. She had fluffy little bunnies.
I did. At one time, I had 13.
bunnies?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
That
they
was
were, like,
before I was
all
in
over
the
the
picture.
place.
That was well before me.
Yes.
We
Yes.
we
Yeah.
don't.
Don't
yeah.
do rabbit.
No, we don't do rabbits.
Well, I don't
Those
eat
are
rabbits.
those are MREs.
Not for me.
MREs.
And
Okay.
for people that don't know what that is an acronym for, meals ready to eat.
Well, I mean, think about it. They're just the right size. You only need one for a meal. You kill it, you clean it, you eat it, and you're done. So I mean,
You don't have
it's
to
perfect.
anything
MREs.
to clean up or
You know,
anything.
and I mean, you think about it. You don't. There's no refrigeration because there's nothing left. It's all good. MREs. You don't got to refrigerate them. Nothing. Just kill them, clean them, eat them.
What do you think about this witch hunt that went on this
For
this
Kavanaugh?
last week? I mean,
I can't stomach listening to it. I can't. I heard what the little bit what Lou played, and then you have it on your Facebook. I went and I listened to
Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham, and
That was
yeah,
a-
he did have a powerful.
That
speech.
was the first time I ever liked hearing anything from
Anything he
Lindsey Graham.
said,
To tell
Well,
you the
I
truth,
used to
man.
call him Lindsey Grahamnesty, right? And he was big buddies with John McCain.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what.
He's looking for new friends now.
Well, you know what? I'll sign
But-
up because
but-
after that,
That was the best words I ever heard out of Lindsey Graham, and I'm not a fan of his. But
Until that.
well, I'm still, he ain't become my best friend yet, by no means. But I'm gonna give credit where credit is due, and he handled that very well, and he spoke it like it needed to be spoken. So you
He
got
did.
you got a point or two.
he
Okay.
did. He's gaining points.
Yeah.
So we know now with the, they're going to do the FBI investigation.
On
But it
something
ne-
38 years old, huh?
Yeah, but
okay.
it needs to be on Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. That's who the investigation needs to be on. You pull all of her phone records.
Hey.
The Democrats, these people that are sitting up in judgment of this fine, impeccable man, have done
So
so much worse.
here's what I think. I think it'll be another Trump investigation that might last for into infinity. In reality, they need to put him on the bench, say it's done, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be
So-
done with it. That's what I think. Quit wasting our money, and it's kind of a sideshow
It
too.
is.
You know,
It's a circus.
so I got to ask, what are they doing on the left hand when the right hand is doing the sideshow?
So you remember our fine Senator Kamala Harris, who is there
Yeah.
now, and
Can't stand her.
one of the ringmasters, right, in the Three Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Before she went to Washington, they found out that Planned Parenthood was selling body parts of aborted babies.
Yes.
And instead of Kamala going after the butchers, she went after the people that
Yeah.
leaked the story.
Yes.
That
Yes, I heard that.
the investigators, the reporters.
She was a good student of young Willie.
Yes.
Well, you know how she got to Washington.
Well,
I'm
go ahead and
well,
say it. I can see it in your eyes.
Okay, I'm going to just tell you, she
Uh,
has the. She did it on her back.
She got the morals
She
of
did
a
it.
alley
She
cat,
did it on her
right?
back.
Yeah.
I just got to bring this up real quick. I just checked our Facebook page. So nobody listens to the Yuba Sutter Political Spotlight, but in the past 20 minutes, we've had another. Well, we're at 146 now. We're at 201 views, and people reached on this
on your
John Buckland thing.
post.
So, yeah,
Go Ned Flanders.
that's what I'm saying. Yeehaw!
Sweet life.
If the shoe fits.
Yep, if the shoe fits, you got to wear it. So just a heads up there, but nobody's listening, so it doesn't matter what I say.
So I was thinking today too, or this past week, that a lot of these people, and I was actually thinking of Brandon Barnes, okay, that they're in a bit of a quandary, okay, because I think Brandon is a pretty conservative guy. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he wants to, do the right thing and have things moving in the right direction. Okay, but at the same time, he's in a quandary with the Democrat program and the money situation, and the pension plan deal. So, for sure, he would want to see that fully funded, because he's in a. You see what I'm saying? He's in a personal quandary in a way, and a lot of politicians or public servants are in that same quandary, right? Because some of them want to see things done right. At the same time, the pay scale and the benefit program is something they don't want to lose either.
But
you know what I mean? So
now, in his defense, I mean, you all know that Tammy works for the city of Sacramento, and will have a nice retirement from there. And I mean, I'm what I think that we need to make notice of is they need to figure out how to get it run to where it runs well. Because, I mean, you made those people a promise. I mean, even us as a whole, as a community, made those folks a promise that, you know what, you're going to get this. Now, it doesn't mean we have to continue to give it. But also at the same time, you can't take something away that you've already given. I mean, you just really, you can't do it. So, I mean, but at the same time, how are you going to fund it? I think that's what really needs to come to light is how are they going to fund it going forward? And that's what the quandary needs to be now is not so much what are we going to do about what's already done in the past, but what are we going to do going forward?
Bust the union.
And you don't have to necessarily keep status quo.
the problem is that they're giving away more than they have access to.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
so I would venture to say that one of the biggest issues that we're facing in this whole deal, okay, with public employees' pensions and benefits and the whole 9 yards, is the fact that they are spending the biggest, hugest part of the pie on welfare, okay? And when I say welfare, I don't mean just your average Mother's Day recipient out here in, Egypt.
Well,
okay? I'm talking about those that are administrating the program, because Brandon, he showed us that letter that showed they're at the very top of the pie. Remember that?
who?
The administrators for social services.
Okay.
Yes.
But
Okay. That
Okay.
is a huge drain on the people.
I got that. But here's the thing. What you should be mad at least what I'm more mad about, is when we hire a new human resources director at the very top step, and is going to draw the maximum amount of retirement they can and not pay anything into it out of their check. They're paying into it. The county's paying into it from our funds, from the taxes, 100% of that. And they know they already have a deficit. Why does that happen? And I think that's what we should be madder than hell about, is that right there.
You want to know why? Because they feel that they hold all the cards. They got the appeals to the Democrat working in their favor, and they're going to be able to squeeze more out of the public.
But that's the one that I'm saying that we should be madder than hell about, is whenever they do the stuff like that, because I don't blame the line level employee that is doing that, that's going to get that job and taking on that job knowing they're going to get that retirement. But the whole thing is now going forward, when they're hiring somebody new or hiring a top line staff or administrator or whatever, why are they doing it that way? That's an issue.
It sure is. I can tell you that when you have 5 supervisors in Sutter County, Yuba County, they're just rubber stamping everything, all 5 votes. Not one person had anything to say about the new HR person in Sutter County. So she's coming in at step 10. Are they going to renegotiate now to where we have a step 12, 13, 14, 15?
Well,
When does it
sure,
end?
because she's not going to stay there at that level forever. She's expecting a raise sometime.
Well, she said, oh, I didn't want to address this, but I took a huge cut in pay and benefits.
Now, why would she come here if she did that?
She lives here, Bill Beeler. She lives here. She's lived here for 2 years. When you
For 2
consider,
whole years.
yeah, and Tammy said something a couple of weeks ago that just totally resonated. Thank you. She said, "You know what? I'm part of that deal, but I want to be reasonable." Because if we are not going to be reasonable, the whole thing is going to crash and burn. And then what? So these people that have paid in have been diligent stewards, right? They're going to get nothing because you know that the number one guy, the chief financial officer for CalPERS, lied on his whole resume.
Yep.
You know, I think that at the political spotlight, we vet people better than the state of California does.
Certainly better than Mary Nichols, idiot she acquired to do the pollutant check on the diesel vehicles.
The carb.
Yeah, the carb lady. And they found out he's a liar. He didn't have any kind of degree. He's just some flash in the pan yo-ho. Could have been living in the river bottoms for all we know. I mean, it's... And on his authority, they imposed the particulate thing on diesel vehicles.
We see that at our level also. You know what I mean? So it runs right up through the whole ladder. These guys, a lot of people get by on just pure BS.
BS.
Yeah. That's right. It's quite amazing.
You know
isn't it?
who should be running CalPERS? Dave Shaw.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Hey,
I think that's a great idea.
So
But we need him here first.
Well,
Yes, we need
Yeah,
him
we
here.
need him to get us out of the ditch in Yuba City. And then, you know what?
well, he would be great at it.
He would be.
But they don't want a guy like that in there.
No. Because he
there's gonna
understands
be
business.
There's going to be accountability. Okay. The people want no accountability.
No,
I mean,
well, the people
we-
want accountability.
Right, but those people don't want
No, the people who are
accountability.
behind the
Yeah.
scenes or in that area don't want accountability.
They don't want to be held accountable.
Yes.
Most chiefs in charge of cities and things like that don't want accountability at all. That's a bad thing. Scares the crap out of them. What, I'm going to be accountable for what I do? Well, that's not good.
Do you need to get any more ads?
Yeah,
Put in-
I'm working that way. That was that noisy hum you heard. My computer went dead. I'm really prepared. I'm over prepared today. I mean, I'm just amazing myself.
I think the important thing to note is that you had a very successful weekend last weekend.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that
I've got that on the brain. You know, I almost wasn't here today. If Tammy
Oh
would have
my
gave me a little
gosh.
nod last night, I would have
Yeah.
been headed for Reno at about
oh
10
my
o'clock last
gosh.
night.
Yeah.
I think that the pit bosses don't want to see you for at least another 30 days.
No, they told me to come back anytime.
They did?
Yeah?
Are you a high roller yet?
No, not yet.
When does that happen?
We're almost to the level where we get a room for our friends too.
Ooh.
See, now don't you want me to go back?
Yes.
Okay, see?
You
He
just
almost
you
did
know
last
what?
night.
Take off that headset and get the hell out of here right now. You just go on up there.
See?
Him and Jimmy, you left too soon, Tom, because you could have been in that car too. Because they were like all
Sit on
about
Jimmy's
it.
lap.
Yeah.
That's true.
No.
I have
I'm
an
glad I
addictive
left.
personality.
Because I wasn't wanting to leave
I
the
don't-
baby. So he's like, "That's okay. Jimmy and I are going to."
I
Reno."
don't want to build another casino in Reno.
I'm not. I'm going to own the next one. No,
Yeah.
I got to play a couple ads. Yes, I do. I'm going to do that right now.
This is Yuba County Sheriff Steve Durfer. I fully endorse endorse Captain Brandon Barnes to be your next Sutter County Sheriff. I've worked with Captain Barnes for over 20 years. Brandon is a graduate of the prestigious FBI National Academy. He was our former SWAT commander and chief of investigations and now holds one of the highest positions in law enforcement as jail commander. He leads and manages a staff of over 80 personnel and an inmate population of almost 400. Folks, your sheriff is the top law enforcement officer in the county. Experience and character are critical. That's why 13 active California county sheriffs, including myself, endorse him. I am beyond confident that Captain Barnes has the skills, the temperament, and the vision to lead Sutter County. I believe this is the most important vote on your ballot. I encourage you to vote Brandon Barnes for Sutter County Sheriff.
Paid for by Brandon Barnes for Sutter County Sheriff 2018.
My name is Stacy Brookman, and I formally request your vote for a seat on the Yuba City City Council. I am a longtime resident of Yuba City, a retired deputy sheriff, and a local small business owner. If elected to the council, there are several items on which I will place my focus. They are economic development, maintaining proper public safety staffing levels, providing solid leadership to our city employees, continuing on the path to a solution of the homeless issue, cleaning up our rivers, and addressing the looming PERS bubble. We currently have a council that is divided, and it has been made clear this division is not good for the city. As a council member, I give you my word that I will work hard to establish solid working relationships with not only the other members of the council, but other members of the community as well. To do this, I will start day one by showing respect. Respect for the city, respect for city employees, respect for the other council members, and most of all, respect for the community. Please remember to demand respect on November 6th and place your vote for Stacy Brookman.
All right, I swore I wasn't going to do it anymore, but I just couldn't resist.
I haven't heard that in so long.
I know. I figured we better play it. We're running out of time here.
Hey,
because, I mean, we're going to run out. The election's going to come. Dennis Houck is going to fade back into his traffic cop scene and never be heard of again. So,
that means hiding in the shade on your motorcycle.
right there on the bridge, the 10th Street Bridge, as you come over the 10th Street Bridge, right there at that little sidewalk where it dips down, right there underneath the shade tree. Be careful.
Yeah. Sometimes
they're hunting a rabbit.
Sometimes sitting right there on top of the bridge, or just before you start to go over the water on the 10th Street Bridge.
Yeah,
right?
see, I haven't seen him there yet. See,
that's an early morning deal. So,
all I know is one ticket could have bought you one of the best radar detectors available. Buy the radar detector.
Yeah. Hey, we got a text here from one of our good buddies over there in Idaho. Ricky.
Oh.
Ricky, don't lose that number. Okay. He said, tell Jason he may have more listeners than he thinks. So I figured I'd
thank you, Ricky.
I'd throw you a bone there, Jason.
You know, there's so many people in Idaho now that are listening.
I know.
Well, they're wondering what's going to happen to us over here.
They're wondering. Yeah.
Hey, now, I did go to the Burger Bash.
You did?
Yes, on Monday night last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Republican slate there for, guys that are running for office. We had a judge that was running
Stephen Bailey.
Running for Attorney General. Okay. And we had Mark Musser running for Secretary of State, and we had Konstantinos Roditis. Really like that guy, Roditis, man.
Like him.
And he is a constitutional guy.
And you forgot about Charlie Schaub.
And Charlie Schaub was there. Gallagher was there. So we had a good slate. And, I think people need to get behind these guys. We need to get rid of the Democrat program, man, big time.
You know what?
So now's the chance.
Yeah. Since we're on this subject, there's been a point of controversy that has arisen, and what I'm referring to is John Cox is coming to Yuba County in the very near future. And he is charging about $5 for lunch.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do is to reach out to John Cox because he is going to represent all of us, right? Not just the ones that can
afford
the high
500
rollers
bucks,
like Jason
yeah.
and Tammy, right? So we're working on that, but you know,
let me back up a minute. I wouldn't give $500 to see anybody. I don't care if they're a concert or whether they're my favorite singer. I ain't giving $500 to see anybody talk. Period. Ever ain't happening.
You'll
So-
give $600 to go to the NRA dinner.
Yeah, well, I'll give more than that to go to the NRA dinner, but you know what? They have something that I like. But the fact is, I'm not going to hear somebody talk. I'm going for entertainment. I'm sorry, but I'm never going to give that much money to go see somebody speak. It just is not going to happen. Period.
Yeah.
well, the numbers don't
I-
compute for here. That's
No.
just
No, it's too rich for this area.
It is.
So hopefully you'll make some headway with that.
I'm trying. I have a pretty good relationship with one of John Cox's handlers. Bill Beeler obviously is in direct contact with the gubernatorial candidate, but you know, it would be really nice if John could show up at our headquarters
It really
for a
would,
couple
yeah,
hours.
Yeah.
Even 10 minutes.
Well,
If we knew when he was coming in, hey, just come in, do a quick speech, and go. I understand you're busy. I understand. But I really think that he needs to represent everybody. I think that's not a really
Yeah.
good move on his part. I understand why he's doing it. I mean, come on, guys. We got 2,500 yard signs in. We gave them away, shipped them out, got them out there. We got what? How many more did we get in, Bill?
No, we had 750 in, and we got another 500 that already.
Okay,
200
I'm sorry.
of
I
those are
misspoke
gone.
then.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact is you're looking at it. 100 yard signs is usually about $300 to $400. So, and we cranked those out. We cranked out the 4x8s, which we all know are expensive. I mean, those are $50 a piece. So it's not cheap to run a campaign. I understand where he's going, that he needs money, and it is expensive. But wouldn't you rather have 80,000 people at $50 a head or
Yeah.
$10 a head as opposed to 50 at 500? It doesn't make any sense.
well, you were at the dinner that we did for him on April 18th. It was sold out, and it was
Exactly.
$20 a ticket.
Exactly. And I mean, you could do something like that, but $500 a spot is that's ridiculous.
It is.
What's the singer from Chicago, Kid Rock? Is that Chicago or Detroit?
Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah, Kid Rock.
Yep.
So he does this ticket's still $20, you know?
Yeah.
And he packs the house every time. And, you know, he's not destitute, is he?
No, and that's the whole thing. That's my big thing is I'm never gonna pay that kind of money to go see anybody. I'm sorry. I get up in the morning, I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like they do. When I usually ain't even wearing pants.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
also that's the image that we're trying to shatter, right? That-
Exactly.
So we need help, and I wouldn't be against Washington D.C. and the Republican National Committee kicking some money down to John Cox. We are in dire straits,
And
Exactly.
we're close.
and we are close.
Every poll that comes out gets him closer. He was within 4 points last poll.
Well, and not only that, do you really think it's going to keep away the people who can give $500? I will go and give as much as I can to that man, which might end up being more. But if I have to pay $500 to see him, I'll be darned if I'm going to give any more.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really think it's a bad idea.
I don't.
Somebody's
even,
not thinking that.
I don't know how that even got leaked out, but we need help.
Yeah.
So I'm off my soapbox.
So, I mean, how can we help? How can we help?
I think we can help by imploring
Paying for other people's tickets.
John Cox to rethink his
So
visit.
Call his campaign.
Yeah, to rethink his visit, and let's include. I'd rather have 200 people there.
Or let's
Well,
just,
you know who's putting it on is our two illustrious leaders,
Are
Nielsen
you
and Gallagher.
Nielsen and Gallagher are sponsoring
I'm
it?
pretty sure, yeah. That's what I saw the names associated
Well,
with it.
we'll have to.
I need to look into that.
So, rest assured, we're on it.
Yep.
We're going to take
Help is on the way. I mean,
wanna-
when John Cox says, I mean, his slogan is "Help is on the way,"
On the way.
Yeah.
but it cannot come at that kind of a price.
I want to fall
But
back.
believe
for just,
the price is going to be worse. The Democratic regime
Exactly.
price. Go ahead, Jason.
I want to fall back for 1 second. Do we know how many endorsements Brandon has?
It's not 13 anymore. It's 17 at least.
Well, when he was here last week,
17 other sheriffs.
Yes.
17
active
sheriffs.
Yes, for sheriffs, county sheriffs. So
Now,
17 other county
surprisingly,
sheriffs.
Ball Dillon has a boatload of endorsements too.
Oh, I left that sheet of paper at home. I have it in my other bag. But it's a whole sheet of paper. We'll bring it next time. And we'll post it on our Facebook
Oh, I
page.
got pals. Wow, I gotta find that. I got an ad for her now too.
Yeah,
that I
it's
keep
great,
forgetting.
too.
I gotta get that. And Dennis Houck has how many shirts?
He has purposefully not sought any endorsements from
on
sheriffs.
on purpose.
So he has none.
Right.
Hey, man, I hear crickets or something. What's going on?
That was an answer to the question of how many sheriff endorsements Houck has.
Oh, all the crickets are.
Yeah, there we go.
endorsing
Huh.
him. Okay.
All right. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Just one.
It's on purpose. He didn't want anybody in law to endorse him. He said that.
That'd make him look bad.
That was a good move.
Well, it's much better to say that than say he couldn't get any.
Did that
So-
come from Carrie? Was that her brainchild of don't ask any other sheriffs for endorsements? or
You know,
what?
I think it's
Her,
if
her last thought before she went on
Let
a
me-
cruise.
Oh, I think are they on their cruise yet?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Sorry. I'm just.
I just
Nothing like leaving your candidates high and dry during the heat of campaign season.
Well, if you know they're going to lose,
That's true.
What's the point?
Why
just get out
bother?
of town. No, I'm sorry. That's
know,
all
I-
alleged. We don't know any of that. It's
I
He's
was
not
it is
really
what it is.
sorry.
I
He's
don't
just
know
telling
that-
stories.
I don't know if our listeners would be interested in this, but I was told I found it fascinating. So we know that Dennis Houck is a sergeant. We know that.
Is that a fact?
Yep. The
Okay.
other candidate is a commander, right?
Captain.
Captain. Right. Captain Barnes,
Captain.
and he also is the commander of the jail. Is that
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had an interesting conversation with somebody that said, shouldn't there be an entry point for experience to throw your hat in the ring for a sheriff?
I'm going to say no.
Well, obviously,
Okay.
we're seeing that played out right in front
no,
of our eyes.
but
Dennis is only a sergeant.
I'm saying because I don't believe you even need to be a cop to become a sheriff. You know what I mean? And I don't think you have to. So I'm going to keep it open to the people.
Yeah.
You know, that's.
Are you
Yes.
saying you're going to run for sheriff, Thomas?
I was thinking about nominating you.
Apparently, the
Yeah.
only qualification is if you ask Dennis, that you really got to want to.
Yeah.
You really got to
I
want
mean,
it.
But-
but
If you really,
honestly,
really
You see
have
what
you-
I'm saying?
I do. I totally see what you're saying. But shouldn't there, if you're going to be sheriff, shouldn't there be some level of experience to go along with the job? I really
Well,
want to be the
Yeah.
NFL commissioner, but
I think
not
really. I don't think that.
I wouldn't do that, Josh.
I don't think that you have to have experience. You know what I mean?
to be a sheriff.
Yeah, I think that there are people that can do the job, and actually it might be beneficial to not be part of the system for so long. You know what I mean? So, for instance, Donald Trump. Isn't that an interesting little
I think
thing
he's,
to throw
I
out
think
there
he's
at
on
you,
the
huh?
train, Liz.
huh?
Oh, you're
Oh,
goading
see?
me right now. You
Yeah.
are. You
well,
are
I just
trying
played. I
to-
just played a little.
Hey,
I think he
I just
showed
told
up
you
at
it's
the
an irritant.
station.
You
I
know
just
that, right?
throw you a curveball there, Liz.
Tom
Yeah.
is an irritant. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know he's an irritant, but I asked him when he came in today if he's on the Trump train yet, and
What
he
did
said
I say?
no. He
I
said no.
I'm glad we don't have Hillary.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you know what? I
And-
asked you, are you even at the station? Can you just throw me
Yeah.
a little bit of a bone?
I
Are you
think
at
he
the
just
station?
told you he's
Yeah.
at the station. I think he
I
just said that.
I didn't say that. Now
I
you
think
might
he-
be putting words in my mouth.
I think
Yeah,
you
throw
made
me
that
a freaking
comparison.
So I'm just.
Sounds like he's at the station.
I am
to me.
still on a wait and see program. Okay, because
We're
I
in it
don't-
almost 2 years now, pal.
Domestically, I like it, but worldwide, I don't know how. I think he has a certain level of control, and I don't like some of the things I see going on the worldwide scale. So that's what's holding me back.
All right, well, here we go into an ad real quick. We'll be right back.
Hey, Sutter County, vote Val Dillon for Superintendent of Schools. Hi, I'm Tanya Cartwright, a local elementary teacher and coach of 25 years. I've known Val Dillon for over 20 of those. It's a no-brainer to vote Val on your ballot. She's the candidate with the most education, the most experience, hands down.
I'm Dr. Lori Goodman, Principal Superintendent of Winship Robbins Elementary. I love the direction Val is taking Sutter County schools. Small districts like ours have a real voice now. Dr. Dillon believes in funding and supporting small districts. She is helping us get the most out of every dollar for student success.
I'm Stephanie Pasquale, owner of New Adventures Preschool, Inc. I've known Val for over 20 years. Education continues to be a big part of my life, and I encourage you to vote Dr. Val Dillon for Sutter County Superintendent of Schools.
Vote Val on your ballot.
Paid for by Dr. Val Dillon for Sutter County Superintendent of Schools 2018.
Okay, I think that's all of them for today.
Got them all in?
I got them all in.
All
Hey,
right.
don't we have a new one for Brandon?
No.
Oh, I thought he was going to cut a new one.
Stacy Brookman was, but he couldn't show up today. So negatory.
For me, when it comes to the Office of Education or the County Superintendent of Schools, I say, which pickpocket do you like better? That's what I think. Because I think we could get by without the whole operation.
We did for
two
centuries and more.
Yeah. And I think we'd get a higher level of education. So that's my 2 cents worth on it. I say abolish the whole program. And the Department of Education on the national scale too, man. Get rid of it, man. And we will all be better off. So that's my pick. Abolish it. I wish that was on the ballot. You know that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
yes,
nice?
no, or abolish it.
Yes, no, or this candidate, or abolish the whole program.
So thank goodness Thomas Burns brought in his appalling Democrat today. There's an article in here that I think that you may have missed about California schools face bleak financial future. This is today's paper with Dan Walthers.
I'm going to read it.
Yeah, you read it. I mean, it's scary. It's downright frightening.
Yeah.
But just to go along with that, Dan Walthers is going to be the keynote speaker for the Sutter County Taxpayers Association meeting on Thursday, October 11th at Hillcrest Landing.
Okay, I'm going to throw another curveball back at you, Liz.
Oh, boy. I got my glove on. Let's go.
So I have my youngest son who homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much he did it on his own. We didn't even do any teaching as parents as far as, curriculum and stuff. And he did go out to several classes. And he ended up with a great education. And he had absolutely no help from the.
You want me to field that? Can I field it?
Oh, sure.
You told me you were throwing me a curveball. I'm going to field it.
Yes, field it.
Okay, so everything I ever needed to know, I learned at Lincoln School, elementary school.
Can you elaborate?
Well, I just think a whole different level of education back then, as opposed to what we have today.
Oh, I will not argue with that. Yeah. Thank you. And actually, you just helped my argument.
And here's the deal, though.
So I got an assist.
Yes.
It all comes down to money. I don't care where your kid goes to school, whether they're homeschooled, they're in public school, whether they're in private school. It all comes down to money.
And morality.
They want money.
Oh, yes.
I got things to get in, guys. All right. I wanted to mention that we had an awesome evening with Val last Friday night at the headquarters. She is such an amazing person to be around. Every time I'm around her, I like her more. So the unfortunate thing was the people that are spreading all these hearsay rumors about her didn't show up to speak with her directly about their hearsay rumors that they keep spreading around.
Cowards.
Yeah, I mean, come on. If you have an issue with her, why don't you talk to her about it? Because we've talked to her about it, and we've dispelled everything you keep throwing out there. So I don't know what else to do with you other
And
than
she's been beyond gracious.
she has been. So here is an opportunity once again to show up, cowards.
To the showdown.
Show up to the showdown and hear what she has to say. She is holding a forum, an ROP and CTE forum at Boyd Hall on Thursday, October 11th. Come and hear what she has to say and what she has done with these programs, and stop spreading your hearsay
What
that
time?
has no basis in truth.
What time?
It is at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Thanks.
6 p.m., October 11th, ROP CTE Forum, Boyd Hall. It's at 1895 Lassen Boulevard.